We need to even rethink the fall of humankind. For Christians, our origin story, even in the story of the fall of Genesis, which I don't think is the story of original sin or our original badness. And besides, it's just a story, an epic tale to help us make sense of who we are. But it's a story of estrangement, not the story of awful humanity's pride and wickedness. It's that we're estranged. And even the story that Jesus tells in Luke 15 about the prodigal son, that is a story of estrangement. And even the messianic story, the Christmas story, the Christ story, and in all of the New Testament, it is about God coming to this earth to gather us up so that we're no longer estranged. So when we stray a bit, and by the way, straying is part of the journey. Sometimes you don't find your way home unless you journey from it. It's not because we're wicked and bad, but it's because we're estranged, which we were never meant to be. So why would someone be faulted eternally for being estranged? Why would God send someone to hell for being estranged? Doesn't make sense to me. This is the old approach to the story. Humanity is wicked and sinful, and thus they must be cut off from God. No, I see the Old and New Testament as being the story of humans were never meant to be estranged from people or from God. And when they are, they live a life of estrangement, which is isolated. For some, it ends up being power. For some, it means they're psychologically impaired. For others, and a few, they end up wicked. But it's not because they are eternally damned. It's that they're estranged. And it's not a wickedness that needs to be atoned for, but we're meant to come home, to no longer be estranged from this God, and that this life is about healing. It's about coming into a relationship with God and a healthy community. So then that's really the work of faith, the church, of ministry. You see, at Spero Day, we don't tell people that they're wicked and sinful and destined to hell, so they need to get saved. But what we share is a story of a relational love. We share that when we're estranged from God and each other, it just impairs our soul. Isolating things happen. But when we come together, healing and restoration happens. Even Christ's cry on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? Is that a cry of someone who was cut off because he became evil on our behalf? I know that's how you were taught, but I don't see it that way anymore. It's the cry of a son who so desperately does not want to be estranged from his father. And so it's not some atoning death that then is transacted by our beliefs. No, it's a coming home. It's a sacrificial love that restores our relationship. And why this matters, because it changes how we see ourselves, it changes how we see others.